the Chiefs. Welcome to the special edition of the Chiefs. Araw-araw na lang special. With me right now are Ana Marie Pamintuan of the Philippine Star and Lucy Cruz Valdez, the head of News 5. Good evening, ladies.
Hello.
Remote
Joining us later will be Robbie Lampay of One News. Ami, go ahead.
Yes. Remote edition, special edition.
Every day is also
special.
remote. Every day has become special.
Well, every day is a special day because we have different guests every day. We get to talk about all these things that a lot of people don't get to talk about in depth and at length.
Yeah.
So I suppose it's a plus for us. But,
Yeah.
what big stories are we looking at tonight, for tomorrow's edition?
Eh sabi nga ni ng Malacanang, di ba, baka daw manghingi ng extension or part 2 of the Bayanihan to Heal Us One Act. Baka daw ipa-extend.
Bakit? Dadami ba ECQ?
Di ba?
Dadami na naman?
Malala.
Kinakabahan ako dyan, ha?
Oo.
Dadami na naman ang mga ilalagay sa ECQ.
Oo.
Kasi di ba
When they say extension, are they referring to extending the power to president to realign the budget or to realign more funds, or what are we talking about?
Yun ang importante, di ba? Yun ang importante. Yung
talaga
to realign and to speed up procurement siguro. Kasi ang hindi nila baka daw special session di ba?
Kasi for example, ang sabi ng DepEd kanina, wala pa sa radar nila yung buying laptops for the school year, for this online school year.
Yeah, for the students.
Wala pa sa radar nila.
Nakakaawa nga yung di ba, yung 7th grader na piso-piso lang siya for every
Piso-net
6
siya.
minutes or 5 minutes ba yan?
Tapos nahihirapan pa siyang
yung 6 pesos niya.
Oo, tapos nahihirapan siyang mag-fill up.
Out. Yeah, grabe. Awa. Imagine, multiply that by what? Sabihin na natin,
It's
just
25 million.
500,000, di ba? Sabihin na lang natin, just 500,000.
Talagang walang pera.
Yeah.
Talagang walang pera.
Hirap.
Saka pati yung mga schools na private schools nahihirapan. At kahit
Medyo
nahihirapan
mahirap.
ang enrollment, pinapakiusapan sila ngayon ng DepEd na wag na muna daw magtaas ng tuition.
Right. Yung
So,
private.
Yung private
Oo.
naman yan.
Yes. Yes.
So hindi natin alam kung ano mangyayari ngayong That's August already, malapit na.
I know.
Yeah,
Tapos there was a question sa hearing kanina na what if the student cannot understand the teacher because it's a new system altogether. The teacher's not yet as well trained as we would want, and the student's not used to the system. Ang sagot natin ng DepEd is that pwedeng tawagan ng teacher yung student. O pwedeng tawagan ng student yung teacher. Yung tanong doon yung load.
Na naman. Hindi, nakakatawa nga sa Senate kanina. Hindi nila makontak yung NTC dahil bagsak yung NTC na to, ha? Nakakatakot, right? Okay.
Siguro yung capability, depende na lang siguro sa LGU, no? Matatanong siguro natin yung guest natin kung mga preparation nila.
We're bringing in officials from the Visayas area to talk about the situation on the ground there. Let's bring in first our special guest for tonight, coming from Ormoc. Of course, Ormoc Mayor Richard Gomez, and joining Mayor Gomez is Congresswoman Lucy Torres Gomez, Congresswoman of the 4th District of Leyte, whom we understand is also the wife of Mayor, Congresswoman, welcome to the Chiefs and thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having us.
Okay.
Ay, naku, si Mayor, wala tang audio.
Honey, your audio.
Wala bang audio? Tinesting na kanina.
Mayor, can you hear us?
Sige.
Can we try again, Mayor?
Naririnig. Yun na.
Si Mayor can hear us but we can't hear Mayor, not as well. Mukhang parang
nasa kuweba.
parang malayo yung
DC Congresswoman naman na.
Congresswoman, if you don't mind me asking you, baka naman nasa pareho kayong bahay ngayon, no? Baka pwedeng
Different rooms yan.
Magkabi na lang
Tabi na
kami.
lang kayo.
Honey, tabi ka na dito, honey.
ayun, wag na nga eh.
Kanina kasi nag-feedback eh. Magkatabi-tabi lang kami
Naka-cellphone yung
kanina.
isa. Sige.
Kaya lumayo siya
Ayun.
sa akin.
Ayan.
Ayun.
Okay.
Hi, Mayor.
Mayor, can you hear us
Kasi
now?
masyado
Ayun,
kaming close.
Ayun na
Okay.
yun.
social distancing ba? Social distancing.
Yes. Ginawa namin to nung nag-quarantine ako from Manila. We had to stay apart.
Ganun ba?
Yeah.
Oo.
When I arrived
That
on
also
March
applies to
13,
husband and wife pala? Okay.
especially to
Oo
husband and
naman.
wife.
No.
Kaya nga.
Okay. Mayor, if you don't mind, I'll start off with you kasi ang ganda ng record ng Ormoc City, at least for the first 70 days. Walang COVID-19 eh. Tapos the other week, I think, from zero, nagkaroon kayo. Tapos today, or at least in the past 2 days, ang sabi ng DOH, Ormoc City is among many other areas that are emerging as hotspots of COVID-19. So what happened in those 2 weeks? Ba't biglang nag-turn around? Ang ganda ng record, tapos biglang lagaboom.
It only began nung nag-intensify ang pagpapabalik ng mga returnees coming from Manila and Cebu. No? So, ang ginagawa kasi namin, pagdating nila dito sa Ormoc City, dinediretso namin sila lahat. Lahat ng pumapasa dito, dinediretso namin sa quarantine facilities namin in Ormoc City. We're fortunate that we were able to use the NHA housing facility to make it into a quarantine and isolation area for COVID patients and returnees.
Mm-hmm. Pero Mayor, may understanding ba between the LGU in your case and whatever agency is sending them home that these people are being subjected first to some sort of test, COVID-19 test?
Noong unang nagpadala sila, wala talagang coordination. And yun ang nirereklamo ko noong una. Sabi ko sa kanila, sana kung pwede mag-coordinate sa amin. That way, alam namin kung kailan sila susunduin, kung ilan yung darating, at saka kung na-test na ba sila. But it got better in the last 2 weeks. Naging maayos na. At least alam na namin kung ilan yung darating at kung kailan darating. Ang binabantayan lang namin, kung sino yung nag-COVID positive. So what we do, pagpasok nila ng quarantine area namin, sinaswab namin sila using the RT-PCR test, no?
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll find out pa lang kung ano na sila, kung COVID affected sila or negative. But the good thing is, in case lang na positive sila, of which marami ang naging positive, nandun na sila lahat sa loob ng isolation area namin.
Pero if I may, when you say marami nag-positive, ibig sabihin na they nakalusot sila doon sa rapid test coming from Manila.
Kasi hindi naman masyadong accurate yung rapid test. Well, ngayon kasi ang mas accurate na test na ginagamit is the RT-PCR.
Opo.
So yun yung gold standard ngayon ng DOH, no, and the other testing centers. Right now in Ormoc City, as we speak, there are 53 COVID-affected patients. Tapos meron ng isang namatay. But yung namatay is not from Ormoc City, taga-kabilang munisipyo namin, pero pinasok namin doon sa isolation hospital kasi kami lang yung sa Ormoc yung merong isolation hospital for COVID patients.
So Mayor, naman-manage nyo ba ngayon? Kasi dati nagre-reklamo kayo sa coordination or lack of it, no?
Yes, nagre-reklamo talaga for the lack of coordination. But alam mo, bilang LGU, ang trabaho namin is really to solve problems, no? So yung problema dumating dito, sinosolve na lang namin. But still, kailangan pa rin namin ng coordination. So ngayon, right now we have meron kaming center for those na coordinated na mga returnees. And then meron kaming center para sa mga uncoordinated. Yung uncoordinated, yung dumarating nila sa mga borders namin na walang documents tapos hindi nagsasabi sa amin. So iba yung lalagyan nila, iba yung lalagyan ng mga coordinated.
So ano ginagawa nyo sa mga uncoordinated?
Okay, yung ganito, yung coordinated nilalagay namin sa quarantine facility namin sa NHA.
Okay.
In that facility, we can handle 400 patients at a time, no, returnees. But right now,
Okay.
we have 446 already.
Wow.
So sobra na talaga kami.
Yes, malapit
Oh, and
na
then,
na
yes,
ma-overwhelm. Yeah.
that's very true. Yun yung sinasabi ko. Do not overwhelm the LGUs kasi hindi lahat kami kayang tanggapin lahat ng pinapadala. Darating yung point na sobra na, wala na silang paglalagyan, malalagay sila sa mga bahay nila. And ako, personally, I do not believe sa home quarantine. Paano kasi yung culture natin mga Pilipino, most homes natin dito, there are at least 2 or 3 families. So kung papasok yung isang COVID-affected na returnee, tapos mag-home quarantine, most likely ma-affect na yung mga nasa loob ng bahay. At pag yun nasa loob ng bahay niya, lumabas, nagpunta ng tindahan, nakipagchismisan sa kapitbahay, yun na yung local transmission. Doon na talaga dadami.
So meron kayong, sige.
Mayor, yung overwhelmed health centers, isa yan sa reasons na sinasite for stronger restrictions. Isa yan sa reason na sinasite sa pagbabalik sa Cebu City sa ECQ. Ngayon sinasabi ng mga health experts, ang health officials natin, ang Eastern Visayas is emerging as a new hotspot for COVID-19. Nag-aalala ba kayo na baka ang malagay din sa ECQ, which will be terrible for the economy, for the local economy? Meron bang ganung possibility, especially with cases rising at sinasabi nyo na nga na o-overwhelm ka mo ang mga health facilities ninyo?
Yes, I'm worried as mayor of this city. Paano kasi ang iniintindi namin, hindi lang yung mga dumating na Manila using the airport. Meron kaming seaport na mga nanggagaling naman sa Cebu. And alam naman natin that Cebu is one of the highest na affected sa COVID and also Manila. So yung dalawang yun, pumapasok dito sa Region 8. Aside from those coming from other places na I don't know, sa Mindanao or some parts of, let's say, Bicol na gumagamit na ng kotse. In Ormoc, there are 3 borders naman na ang pasukan using vehicles, kalsada. So, ang dami na yung binabantayan. Now, ang nirequest namin kay Secretary Anyo when we had a briefing yesterday na kung pwede lang sana, dahil nga puno na yung facilities namin dito, if they can just suspend muna yung pagdating ng mga OFWs, yung pagdating ng mga returnees or ng mga locally stranded individuals. That way, kasi that way, yung cycle namin na 14 days na quarantine, everyday naman may gumagraduate. So everyday nababawasan yun. No?
Anong sabi niya? Pumayag ba siya? Pumayag ba sila? Kasi problema rin nilang malaki ngayon yung local stranded eh. Yeah.
When we had a briefing yesterday, together with the governor and other mayors. So yun ang nirequest ko, pwede suspend muna. Nag-agree naman si Secretary Anyo. And then I read in the news today, hindi ko lang alam kung ano yung news company yun, but according to General Eliasar, sinususpend muna nila yung pagpasok o pagpapadala ng mga returnees going to Region 8.
Ano yung economy ngayon, Mayor? Kumusta ang economy ng city? Because you're heavily dependent also on tourism, although that's not your principal industry. Pero kumusta yung epekto sa ekonomiya ng Ormoc nitong ongoing pandemic?
Well, pag-order ng presidente na isara lahat, nagsara lahat, no? And because maraming kumpanya na hindi naman gaano kalaki, sa tagal ng pagsara ng company or ng mga establishments sila, they were forced to close down and totally close their company. So marami ring tao dito ang nawalan ng trabaho. Yun yung isang nangyari dito. But slowly, the economy is moving, the stores are opening up, and the people are starting to work.
May estimate ba kung ilan yung na-displace na mga workers? Libo-libo ba yun?
I'd say maybe libo-libo. Paano kasi hindi naman lahat ng tao na nandito sa Ormoc City nagtatrabaho. So this is one more problem na nakikita namin. With the hundreds and thousands of people coming from overseas na uuwi ng mga provinces, just imagine, marami ng tao sa mga probinsya ang walang trabaho. Pagpasok ng mga galing sa ibang bansa, wala rin silang trabaho ng aabutan dito. That's why it's very important na meron silang tinatrabaho na stimulus bill sa Congress, no? Kung yung stimulus bill na yun, ma-approve kagad yun sa Congress, hopefully pagbalik nila, before the State of the Nation address, sana maaprubahan yung bill na yun, that can really help the economy in all regions of the country.
So anong reaction mo sa pagsuspinde dun sa Balik Probinsya program ni Senator Bongo?
Actually,
Kasi-
that was really a good move na isuspend muna. Aside from
Pero
that,
short
meron
term
pang-
lang yun, ha?
Yes.
Over the long run, they really want that implemented, no? What do you
Yes.
feel about that, given you know na, unemployment is so high right now across
Oo
the
nga eh.
board? Yeah.
That's one problem that we also have to solve as local chief executives, no?
Yeah.
In terms naman dun sa mga program na sinuspend, eventually ibabalik din nila yon, and eventually kailangan din namin tanggapin. What's important here is really to coordinate with us. Kasi nga we can only carry so much people. Like I said, Lucy, hindi ko pa nga nasagot yung tanong mo kanina, ano yung difference nung coordinated at saka nung uncoordinated?
Yes, that's right. Iba tapos. Okay.
Yung coordinated, yun yung dinadala namin sa facility namin na
Yeah.
that can carry 400 people.
Right.
So pagpasok nila doon, registered sila, they will be fed 3 times a day. Lunch, breakfast, lunch, dinner. Tapos kompleto yun, may facility sila, may tulugan sila, meron silang toiletries, meron silang electric fan, kompleto yun. Doon
Yeah.
sa uncoordinated, meron kaming isang evacuation area. Pagpasok nila doon, we can only give them yung mattress at saka electric fan. Yung pagkain, since taga dito naman sila, yung family na nila ang magsusupply ng pagkain nila.
I see. Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Pero I
Okay.
suppose
And then yung mga meron namang may kaya, yung mga may pera naman na ayaw tumira sa mga housing facility or dun sa evacuation center, we have memorandum of agreement with a hotel. So they'll have to pay for the hotel, they'll have to pay for the food. Yun, relax sila doon.
I suppose
Okay, Mayor,
striking that very delicate balance, no, between
Yes.
accepting your constituents back and preserving health, no?
Yes,
That's,
definitely.
so-
Public health is really important. That's why ayaw ko naman na magkaroon ng local transmission. Even if we have over 500 people already in our evacuation and isolation area, at least walang local transmission. No? Yung 53 na affected, they're all quarantined inside one area.
Pero syempre, ayaw mo rin isipin ng mga constituents mo na dinideny mo sila, no? Nire-reject mo sila umuwi. I mean, how does that
Yes,
feel
but
for you, no?
yes, nobody is being denied entry. No one is being rejected. Yung mga
Yan, nawala si ano.
Yeah.
Siguro.
Total.
Mayor, is she there?
Yeah.
Mayor,
Yan.
if you don't mind, tell you what, Mayor,
Okay.
we will just pause for a break first. Baka we can fix the connection kasi I think Congressman Lucy Torres dropped out of the connection nga eh. So we'll just fix the connection first while we go into a gap,
Okay.
if you don't mind. So just stay
Sige.
right there. We will be right
Okay.
back.
Welcome back to the Chiefs. We're still with Ormoc City Mayor Richard Gomez and Congresswoman Lucy Torres Gomez. Sorry, ma'am, you dropped out kanina. So
I
tatanungin
know.
po natin kayo. Oo. Kasi gusto po ni magkaroon ng stimulus package for local government especially. And there's now a proposal na baka daw magkaroon ng special session, baka daw humingi ng special session ng Malacanang to pass nga the stimulus package and make phase 2 of the Bayanihan to Hilas 1 Act. Ano po bang
Yes.
sentiment sa House of Representatives?
Actually, there's already a beautiful stimulus package. No, I saw how hard my colleagues worked on it, and it really just requires the go of the executive. So safe to say that on our part, we've passed all the interventions that we feel is needed at this time now of COVID, and we're hoping that the executive will act on it swiftly also.
So if you
What
get
are
a
the major
recognition
provisions?
of urgency from Malacanang, and
What?
mukha naman sabi nyo na it has a strong support from Congress, gaano kaya kabilis yun before
I don't know, because that is the conversation in the different Viber threads we have in Congress. In the economic stimulus thread, they're really eagerly awaiting action on the bills that were passed, or the laws that were passed on third reading. It just really
Congresswoman,
needs the
Yeah.
yes.
Ma'am, what did you find beautiful about this stimulus package?
Oh, because it was very inclusive. It was very well thought of. If had I known that you would ask me about the stimulus package, I could have gotten my notes on it. But si Congressman Joey Salceda worked very hard on it, and another economist who's brilliant in the House is Congresswoman Stella Kimbo, and Congresswoman Sharon Garin. And it also got a lot of support from the business community.
Sa Ormoc po, ano kaya ang magiging priority? If napasa si stimulus package, ano yung pinaka-priority for assistance?
We've launched the LGU naman without banning favoritism. The LGU has been very swift to act on the needs of the people of Ormoc, no? And right now, what we're doing in our conversations with Richard, parang we're foreseeing that the new heroes post-COVID will really be the agriculture sector, our fishermen, our planters, our farmers. So we're on our own. We're doing programs to really strengthen that. We have massive planting activities, community gardens. We're encouraging homes to. It's a beautiful movement here now. We're really going back to basics, and it's something that maybe we would never have taken on under different circumstances, because we're so used to the fast food generation, everything
Yeah.
mabibili. But now with the luxury of time, we have more respect also for the work of our hands, and really slow living.
Kumusta po ba ang tourism as a sector in Ormoc? And
Tourism was-
how is it now? Did it suffer greatly also?
Oh yes, I think nationwide tourism has really taken a bad hit. We were doing very well na sana with tourism, and one of the projects of Mayor Richard when he first started was to really go on a cultural mapping project, no, so that the people will have a better appreciation of why we are the way we are. So that became the basis of all the programs also that was being launched. And in fact, beginning of the year, or even latter part of last year, there were already many plans. This was supposed to be a very full year. The Pineapple Festival, the
Yeah,
fiestas.
yeah.
You know how we as Filipinos love fiestas, but of course that has been put on hold. And I think local tourism will really be nobody foresees anybody really traveling out of the country so much. So the sooner we beat the virus, the sooner also we can go around loving the Philippines.
Yeah. So paano yung mga hotels, yung mga restaurants, are
Well,
they Kasi,
Ironically, no,
yes.
ironically, the hotels are somehow earning already because some of them, I don't know if Richard mentioned kanina, but some of them are actually being used as quarantine facilities. The restaurants, we have takeout. It's the cottage industries that are really booming. I see also in the LGU, no, there are 7 under the district I represent, and they all have these little efforts. You see small cottage industries really booming, and then here also in the city we have yung mga mobile markets,
Yes, yes.
and it earns a lot. So it's a farm to table living, and what needed education before sort of became natural na lang in the here and now. So I'd like to think of that as a blessing and something that could hopefully continue even post COVID.
Okay.
Well, you mentioned education. Kumusta naman po ang preparations ng city, Mayor
For-
and Congresswoman, for the upcoming school year? Ready po ba ang Ormoc for blended learning?
Siguro, blended learning will be applicable for Ormoc City. Just to give you an overview, the size of Ormoc City is almost the size of the whole of Metro Manila. So, napakalaki ng land area
Laki
namin.
pala,
Yes.
oh.
And then
Malaki.
marami kami, malaki, malaki.
Yeah.
And marami kami mga bundok dito. So, definitely yung mga bundok dito sa Ormoc City will definitely not have internet connection. That's why yung modular learning, pinag-iisipan talaga kung pwede ba talaga yung face-to-face. So, not everything will be applicable to Ormoc City. In the city itself, okay naman yung interconnection, and some schools will have computers and internet. Pwede yun, applicable. But they're still deciding on what to do dun sa mga far-flung barangays.
Pero Mayor, initially sinasabi ng DepEd, baka i-devolve dun sa mga LGUs yung provision for laptops, tablets, and computers for the school kids. I mean, yung sa teacher, siyempre, DepEd yan dapat eh. Pero yung
Yes.
mga bata, mukhang iaasa nila sa mga LGUs kasi kahit yung laptops ng teachers eh, hindi pa 100% eh.
This
So,
is what
paano po yun?
yes, Ed, this is what I've been saying since I became mayor. Sana yung mga national programs, wag nilang binabato sa LGUs lahat na walang pondo. Paano kasi, not all LGUs are like cities in Metro Manila na ang budget nila is in the billions. You know, there are a lot of third, fourth, and fifth class municipalities who cannot even afford to buy a computer for their own offices. So imagine if the LGU will have to spend for all the school children or for the schools lang, may hirapan talaga. That's why sana ang gawin ng DepEd, if magre-require sila ng computer, it should come from their own budget, not from the local government units.
Naku, Mayor, malabo yun ha. Kasi it's already almost July. We're looking at August 24 and they're not yet even,
Yep.
they haven't even, wala pa sa radar nila ang 100% tablets and computers for teachers. We're not even talking about students yet ha. For teachers, wala pa sa radar nila yung funding.
Wala talaga. Kahit sa ano, in fact, I just had the local school board meeting this afternoon, and hindi pa rin pinag-uusapan yun dun sa local school board namin on what to do. What ang clear lang sa amin is that there are some schools na pwede namin gamitin for isolation area, at saka yung ibang schools na hindi na pwedeng gamitin for isolation area. And then other than that, we never talked about, it was never brought up kung LGU ba ang gagastos to buy the computers or laptops for school children.
Mhm.
Congresswoman, is there any discussion about this sa House? Sa House, you have the power of the purse. Siyempre, lahat maghihingihan din sa inyo ng budget. Meron bang proposal from Malacanang about this? Kasi marami din mga LGUs na nagsasabi na ito. Hindi namin kaya mag-provide sa mga estudyante
Yes.
natin ng mga gadget. Ano bang pwedeng initiative sa House? Or are there any initiatives already?
Well, there is another thread in the House, no, the Arts and Culture block, and that has been taken up, blended learning. I don't know if there is a formal a formal move yet to subsidize the cost of computers for the children. I'll have to check. But in the local school board meeting kanina, when I asked the superintendent what the direction was as per central office, they said that all systems go for August, but it's still fluid. It really depends on how the situation with the pandemic unfolds.
How do you feel about the August 24 opening? Are you ready for it at the rate we're going?
Honestly, I don't think we can be ready, especially with the requirement of all the children having all the
Gadgets.
access to gadgets. And also we have to take into consideration that it's been a very stressful time for the parents. I mean, I hear of friends of mine, and they're in the house tutoring their children, trying to really, have a sense of normalcy in terms of an education for their child. And it's eating up what would be an otherwise healthy relationship. I can't, not for all, no, but for a lot of them, sinasabi na nila talaga new respect for teachers, nag-aaway na sila with their parents, struggling with the subject. So it's a very difficult time for everybody all around.
So what do you think is a reasonable date for school opening then? I know that it
will be hard to,
but yeah.
It's very hard to predict because
Well,
that's like saying, yes, go ahead.
Yeah,
Honey.
Mayor.
No, it's going to be
Mayor.
very difficult. Yes. Paano kasi in the Constitution it really says na kailangan by August
right.
tumatakbo na yung eskwela. So they need to have a special session if there is really a move in Congress to delay it further. But if you will ask me, are the schools ready 100%? I'd like to say that it's not. No, I really hope that the LGUs can really help the problem with DepEd, but it's going to be a very big task for DepEd to open on August.
Yung
And
isang
especially
aspect
because
ng problem na yan, Mayor, yun namang mga private school owners. Sabi din nila, kapag na-delay pa daw yung opening, baka daw mapilitan ng marami sa kanila magsara. And every month daw, they're losing a lot of money and they cannot sustain the teachers. Yan pa yung isang problema. Anong pwede kaya gawin ng mga local governments?
That's really very true, no? I've met already with the local with the DepEd and the private schools in Ormoc City, and again, it's really a delicate balance on whether to open prematurely or we will delay ang opening ng school. At the end of the day, DepEd will really have to find a solution, and then we will follow their lead.
Yun bang plano nila na gamitin yung mga TV networks? Do you think that will work? I mean, do you have access to, say, IBC 13 there? I'm just curious.
Well,
Kasi yung nagagamitin nilang...
Ang tagal ko na hindi naririnig yun.
Intercontinental Broadcasting Corporation.
Pati yung RPN9, meron pa ba?
But we actually discussed that kanina in the school board meeting, because especially now, if it has to go that way, na it's going to be online pala, it has to be fun for the child, because sabi nga ng isang resource person in one of our Zoom conferences, no, na learning can be boring in an actual classroom. How much more if it's if you're at home where you're always, diba, nowadays. So we really have to be very creative. And in terms of is that effective? I think fun learning is always effective learning. We should deviate from the idea na dapat mahirap dapat pahirapan yung bata para matuto. If the child has fun learning through shows like I remember before Batibot or Sesame Street, meron naman tayong mga takeaway talaga doon. And if it has to go this way talaga na blended learning, then we might as well make it fun, especially for the children.
Yeah. Mayor, baka pwede kang mag-talent professor. That might
I will
work.
try, and I will do my best if I do.
You know, on that subject also, si Congressman Toff de Venecia is very active in trying to help naman yung mga live events kasi sila talaga yung nawalan
Oh, yeah.
ng
Yes,
trabaho. And then
yes.
napag-usapan namin kanina lang na baka there's a way na to put together modules. We hire those
Yes.
actors and actresses who have been
Right.
displaced in
No,
this
really.
pandemic, and then
Yeah.
in that sense baka the quality of teaching is elevated, and then
Yes.
even the appreciation is elevated. Baka pagkatapos ng pandemic, kasi mga sila si Kapitana sa fiesta kumakanta na ng Broadway, 'di ba? Hindi na budots or yeah,
No,
so we
really.
just have
No,
to
that's true. Because they're so
yeah.
used to telenovelas and then they're
Yes.
so used to YouTube. So, ang
Yeah.
kalaban mo dyan, yung mga sanay na sila, yung mga millennial tsaka Gen Z, no? Sanay na sila
Yeah.
sa short attention span na yung mga yan eh. So,
I remember when
it's gonna be
I'd like to share
challenging.
Ako,
I
okay,
remember
boomer.
I remember when Richard had just assumed as mayor, no, and then he saw that in the barangays every time may fiesta, walang cultural content. It was always what they saw in the noontime show. So the first thing he did was contact Professor Eric Sarudo of UST to conduct a massive cultural mapping activity across the city. So all the teachers were involved, and what was called from that activity was really beautiful. It became the raw material na for all the events. So when you go now to the mga barangays, may cultural na
Element
significance yung
na,
mga presentations nila. Yes.
Well,
That's good to
at least
hear.
that's something positive. Now we're ending this
Yeah.
interview on a positive note. Anyway,
Yeah.
Ormoc City Mayor Richard Gomez and Congresswoman Lucy Torres Gomez, thank you for joining the Chiefs.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening po.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Thank you
very much.
And
Maraming
God
salamat.
bless.
Yes.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Thank you.
Okay, and now we'd like to welcome our next guest, also in Eastern Visayas, Leyte Governor Leopoldo Petilla. Good evening po, Governor.
Good evening.
Good evening, Ami,
Hi,
Richard,
sir.
and
Hi, Governor.
good evening to all the
Yes.
viewers.
Good evening po. Mukhang nagiging bagong hotspot. Tinanong din po namin to kanina kaila Ormoc City Mayor Richard Gomez. Nagiging hotspot ang Eastern Visayas. Kumusta naman po ang situation sa Leyte? Tumataas daw ang cases ng COVID, and are you worried na baka mangyari din yung nangyari sa Cebu City, that the national government will impose more restrictions on the province?
Well, pupunta lang kahapon nila Secretary Ani at Secretary Gartes yesterday. Kasi if there is something medyo naiiwain sa figures, yes, nakaka-worry. Biglang dumaki. Pero ang ano naman doon, kung tingnan natin close ang statistics naman, parang zero pa naman ang test. In fact, yung mga consequence na natin dito na galing sa mga LSI, puro walang symptoms. So wala kami isang case na kahit merong mild symptom.
Governor, if I may interject, Governor, baka nakabukas po yung speaker ninyo. Ang lakas po ng echo para pong nagbibideo tayo.
Feedback.
Opo, nag-echo po siya so hindi maintindihan masyado yung sabi po niya.
Babawasan
Tempo,
lang.
kamusta po?
Baka naka-Bluetooth.
Yun, I think that's better.
Yan.
That's better po.
Yeah.
Kasi kanina parang video tayo eh.
Parang hindi naman ganoon yung pagdinig ko sa boses ko na pamadyo.
Okay.
Governor, you were saying
Yun yung natin. For example, as of June 22, we have 176 positive cases. Sa province of Leyte lang yun. Hindi pa kasama yung kala Mayor Richard at saka yung sa Tacloban City, sa mga independent na city sila. And then sa 176, all of them are asymptomatics. Pag sinabi kong asymptomatics, yung iba dyan, 14 days na, yung iba 21 days, wala pa rin symptom na lumabas. Kasi sabi na, within 14 days daw, sa days, sa labas na yan.
Yeah.
So, lahat sila walang symptoms. Wala kaming case na kahit mild symptom, and wala rin tayong case na may severe na symptom, COVID
Oh,
symptom.
wow.
And zero death din tayo. So meron nga ibang meron akong kausap ng isang governor sa somewhere in Mindanao. Sabi niya may isang lugar doon na 27 yung cases nila pero 7 ang death. Parang gano'n.
Wow,
So
taas na.
parang may strange na parang strange lang yung numero, no?
Yes,
But
yes.
ang ano naman dito kasi ang ginawa natin dito sa Leyte, once nag-GCQ yung Metro Manila and yung Cebu, nag-GCQ. So allowed na mag-travel, no? All we need to do is travel pass, medical certificate, and then you buy a ticket, no, sa barko or sa airplane, no, sa commercial. So pagdating dito, mabuti naman kasi naka-MGCQ pa kami.
Yeah.
Yung ports, yung LTFRB, nagko-coordinate sa mga local governments na sasabihin nila, oy, may parating kami na pasahero na 3 from going to this town. So sinusundo na mga mayors nila, sinusundo sa airport, sa port, or places, no? Tapos dalhin kaagad nila sa quarantine.
Yes.
Tapos pagdating sa quarantine, isa-swab kaagad.
Okay.
Yes, kaagad. No? So parang gano'n. So hindi ito yung naglalakad-lakad dyan sa barangay tapos nag-uubo, tapos tinest natin ang positive. So hindi ito gano'n naglakad-lakad. So it's a good thing na gano'n ang cases natin. So by the time they arrive, quarantine, then test. Kaya lang, lumobo nga kasi tinest namin. Marami kaming tinest eh.
So, ibig sabihin yan, sir, dahil sabi nyo, karamihan sa kanila, if not all, asymptomatic, maaring maraming naglalakad-lakad dyan na positive pero asymptomatic. Hindi ba kayo kinakabahan sa resultang yan?
Hindi, kasi before nag-open, since April, meron na tayong ginagawa na mass testing, yung rapid test ginagamit natin. Pag may symptoms, pag nagka-symptoms, tinitest natin. Kasi remember, bago mag-lockdown yung Luzon noong March, yung umuwi dito sa amin bago mag-lockdown was 14,000.
Wow.
In the last 2 weeks, we have mga 4,000 mga umuwi ng mga LSIs.
Ilan ang natetest?
Well, ang karamihan niya natitest, no? Kasi meron ding iba talaga na mga ninja, yung tinatawag na ninja na
Ninja.
sa karton, nasa truck.
Ganon, may ganon.
Ang tawag ni Secretary mga guerrilla daw eh. Gumagapang kahit ano. Pero naman, pagdating din sa mga barangays nila, kung nandun na sa barangays, nakaano rin yung mga barangay officials natin kasi kilala nila eh. At least ang mga barangays namin, hindi sinulaki ng mga barangays dyan sa Metro Manila na mayroong 300,000 yung population.
So, madaling mag-contact trace.
Oo, madaling mag-contact trace kasi magkakakilala lang yan. Tapos alam ko na kung saan punta. Parang gano'n. No? So in fact, we had meron ding mga, for example, ang isang dineclare ng DOH na local transmission daw, yung Hilongos. No? So, nag-contact trace kami. Kaso yung pasyente doon, parang 10 years na siyang may congenital heart disease.
Yes.
Labas siya. No,
Immunocompromised.
tinest siya sa hospital ng positive. And then when we did the contact tracing, it was really mostly on yung household niya, no? Tapos yung mga health workers na sa RHU at saka sa district hospital na nag-manage sa kanya. Mga 20 plus, mga primary contacts yun, pinaswab namin lahat, nag-negative lahat, including yung household. Ang problema namin doon, hindi namin ma-explain kung saan niya nakuha yun, sino nakahawa. Kasi nasa bahay lang siya. Ang makakahawa lang sa kanya siguro, yung mga household members na umaalis. So, parang mga ganun, although in the end, parang hindi talaga ma-determine. So, inano na lang natin na observe na lang and then in due time, case closed na yun, kumbaga. May mga cases nila.
Kumusta?
Pero Governor, para lang paglinaw po, pag sinabi po kasing asymptomatic, hindi po ibig sabihin na magkakaroon sila ng symptoms after 14 days. Meron talaga pong asymptomatic na who will never exhibit any symptoms.
Yes.
even after they are already hanggang sa ma-cure na sila completely. Pero when you say asymptomatic kasi, actually that really means na wala kang symptoms at all na in-exhibit eh. So even the 14 days does not apply to them.
Well, ang ano kasi din, ang mga sinasabi ng mga experts sa health, ano, na pag wala kang symptom, never ka nagka-symptom 14 days. Ang sinasabi nga nila, 14 days lang eh. Pag hindi ka daw nagka-symptom niyan, ibig sabihin, nagkaroon ka ng mababa ang viral load. No? And then, ang recovery period naman niya, kasi mababa lang, mabilis din ang recovery. May sinasabi nga nila, ang iba nga dyan, 7 days. 10 days, nakaka-fully recovered na. And then, pag asymptomatic kasi, pag hindi daw umuubo, hindi lumalabas yung virus. So, less ang ano niya, low risk.
Less chances. Less chances.
May mild cases. Ang pinaka nakakatakot, yung may mild symptom kasi umuubo yan, and then hindi sila bedridden kasi mild lang eh. Parang tayo, may lagnat tayong konti, nakakatakot.
Naglilibot pa rin.
Naglilibot pa rin. Katulad ng case namin noong April na galing siyang buwan. Tapos pagdating dito, nagka-symptom siya. Meron siyang farm dito, nag-harvest pa ng palay sa farm niya. Tapos may symptom na siya, no? Lakad ng lakad. Tapos binenta niya yung harvest niya. Tapos dineposito niya sa bangko yung pera niya. Tapos nag-grocery bago. So yun, sinunod namin sa contact tracing noong April. And then, ganun din, lahat ng primary contacts naman niya. Isa lang naman ang nahawa niya, yung pamangkin niya na kasama niya sa kwarto, kasama niya nakikitulog niya. So yun lang, and then naging case closed din yun eventually. So, ang advantage kasi natin ngayon, what is it that we have now na wala noon yung panahon ng February, March, parang gano'n. What we have now actually is, noon, hindi pa tayo nagtitest ng mga
Testing, yes.
mild cases. Ang tinetest nun, yung severe cases lang eh.
Yes,
Diba?
yes.
Now, we can test those mild cases na to take out of the streets or their homes, itong may mga mild cases na mag-positive, is to take them out of the streets, tapos mababawasan ka agad ang paghawaan nila sa barangay. So yun yung meron tayo ngayon. Kasi noon, pag nag-symptom, ipo 14-day quarantine mo lang. Di ba?
Yeah.
Before we know it, before mo ma-determine, ma-test ng positive. Dati kasi, hindi pa tinitest ng DOH yan. Kailangan i-rapid test mo pag nag-positive. Saka lang sila mag-PCR. So parang bago mo tapos ang tagal mo pa maghintay ka noon ng 10 days bago lumabas ang result. So pagdating ng point na positive na siya, na-confirm na, marami na siyang nakasalamuha. So marami na siyang nahawa. No? So yung advantage ngayon kasi kaya na natin kaagad-agad.
So Governor, hindi kayo natatakot na matutuloy yung fear nila na magiging hotspot siyang, well, Leyte is one of the provinces na binanggit. Hindi kayo natatakot na mangyayari yan?
Well, siguro na-mention na kami na hotspot ang Leyte. No? Pero ang sa amin is, again, the situation is not as bad really as the numbers says, no? But hindi, ang numbers nga nagsasabi. For example, if they declare us as ECQ, malayo pa naman siguro mangyari yun kasi even ang mga ICUs dito are marami pa ang hindi malayo pang mapuno, kumbaga, kasi puro mga asymptomatics.
Pero Gov, nag-warning nga si Pangulo na ang tendency nga raw pagka nilalagay sa mga GCQ or MGCQ ay nagiging complacent. Hindi naman niya ginamit yung pasaway, no? Pero parang may tendency nga naman. So ang tanong ko, sir, na-observe ba naman ang mga protocols dyan?
Yes po, parang for example, nung March, nung first time na nag-declare ng ECQ yung entire Luzon.
Yes.
Kami naman sa province of Leyte, nag-declare kami ng GCQ nung March from the start. And then sa pag-declare natin, mandatory na ang face mask, no? And then may monitoring na kami sa mga may trangkaso, may ubo, yung mga mild symptom, di ba?
Okay.
Parang campaign tayo niya na pag may umubo, bawal kayo lumabas ng bahay. Parang gano'n, huwag muna kayo papasok. So parang
yung-
gano'n. Minsan nga po sa extent, napukonsensya nga ako kasi pag mayroong konting ubo lang dyan, tinititigan ka agad ng masama ng lahat ng tao. So,
Running, syempre. Running mga tao. Pero physical distancing, meron ba kayo dyan?
yes naman.
Or that also?
I mean,
Yeah.
campaign natin sa physical distancing at saka face mask at
Yeah.
saka syempre yung paghuhugas ng kamay.
Okay.
Plus syempre parang nagiging conscious kasi meron din tayo mga old ways, ano, yung nag-steam ka, yung
Yeah.
nagsasanapat, ano.
Yung tuob. Work ba yun sa inyo? Yung tuob.
Oo nga. Oo. Oo. Kapag natatanungin ko rin kayo, kasi tinanong din namin kanina kila Ormoc Mayor, is Leyte ready for the school opening? Kasi marami silang binanggit na problema na I think it's pretty common among LGUs. Ang Leyte ba nakahanda sa blended learning?
Before I entered politics, nasa IT ako eh.
Mhm.
So,
Oh.
actually doing a lot of technical sa malalim na technical ang ginagawa ko sa IT, mga firewall, how to set it up, mga gano'n.
Okay.
So, parang nakikita ko, for example, ang IT needs nila. I don't think it can be provided in 1 month and 3 weeks
Yeah.
Wow.
or 2 months. I don't think ma-provide that. Kasi dati sa minamanage ko na company before, just to order mga ilang megabits na lang, it takes 45 days.
Wow.
Parang gano'n, pag mag-order ka ng bagong linya. No? Tapos, the other thing is I read one time na they need 27 billion para sa mga laptop, sa mga gadgets.
Opo.
So,
Yeah.
Only for the teachers, ha?
Yeah.
Only for the teachers yan, ha? Yung 27 billion.
Hindi pa kasama mga bata dyan.
ang procurement na lang yan. Dati, o-order lang kami ng 300 na computers. Sasabihin na nila, 45 days o 30 days. Parang
Yes,
ganun.
right.
O parang ganun karami, hundreds of thousands
Oo
o even
nga.
na gadgets. I don't think makahabol ng manufacturers yan kung ganun karami.
Yes, true.
So, ang sa IT side lang yan, no? Sa IT side. So, medyo, I think I have to agree with Mayor Richard on that one.
Kumusta naman ang
Pero-
internet penetration dyan?
Ay, nako. Kahit wag na lang internet, yung cellphone na lang, signal.
Oh, cellphone. Okay.
Oh my! Yan ang kalala.
Kanina, nabanggit na yung IBC. Actually, ang province of Leyte is, franchise holder ng IBC. Parang, I don't know, ilang di pa lang ang hindi naman di pa, no? Parang siguro ilang towns lang ang inaabot. Tapos wala na talaga pag akyat mo sa mountainous na mga barangays, wala na talaga.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So,
Kung
Pero, Gob, kasi,
Kung
may
face to face makakaya ba? Considering the threat of COVID still around.
Tsaka MGCQ naman kayo.
Oo.
MG, kami.
Yeah.
Kaya bang face to face? Kasi sabi nga ni Mayor Richard, kailangan mong i-amend yung law eh. If you want to open later than August. Di ba? So kailangan before the end of August mag-school opening na eh. So mukhang hindi kaya mangyari yun. So kaya ba ang physical
Alam mo
Kasi
kung
kayo ng barrier, gano'n, yung kapareho sa ibang bansa. Kaya ba yon?
siguro kung ako yung teacher, mga 6 years old, 7 years old, magso-social distancing, parang, I don't know, siguro mag-resign ako kinabukasan.
Running nga talaga yun, no?
Yeah, social
No,
distancing.
that's true.
Lalaro yun eh, di ba? Parang, siguro yun yung, siguro pag high school, medyo pwede pa, pero, again, marami rin pasaway-pasaway din, di ba? So, ang college siguro, medyo in fact, yung meron tayong mga nagsasabi sa akin ng mga parent na kahit mag-open o hindi, although ito sila sa private
Ayaw
school,
nila.
hindi nila enroll yung anak nila.
Oh, wow.
Kahit mag-open o hindi pa rin nila enroll. May mga several din, pero although wala tayong survey niyan, siguro I think that's one survey na kailangan nila gawin.
Oo. So, kumbaga, mas gusto na lang nila to err on the safe side, no? Yung bali ng magka-ear muna, wag lang magkasakit. Siguro ganon, no?
O parang siguro they are willing to accept na
Yeah.
ma-delay ka ng 1 year sa
Yes.
graduation mo.
Yeah.
Better na delay na lang ng 1 year kaysa sa magkasakit.
Mhm.
Parang ganun.
Right.
Pero on the other hand, Governor, ang daming teacher na mawawala ng trabaho kung matuloy ang ganyan.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Sa private sector,
And
yeah.
schools. Schools.
Diba?
are
So
doing
the balancing is going to be a terrible decision because if you don't have kids going to school, you will have schools closing shop and teachers getting out of work.
With 17% unemployment, hindi pa kumpleto 'yan. I think first quarter pa lang yata yun. Wala pa tayo sa second quarter, no?
Oo nga.
So sa ganun din, marami rin talaga siguro ang mga parents na expected na lilipat sa public,
Yes.
no? Or yung iba muna ipangpaliban na lang muna para next year na lang magkagasto sila sa pag-eskwela, parang gano'n. So I mean talagang matatamaan, marami talagang matatamaan din na lalo na sa private schools natin.
True.
Pinagmimitingan ba yan ng mga LGUs, mga provincial governors? Kasi makatanungin din kayo ng Malacanang just in case habang lumalapit yung... Kasi ngayon ang enrollment is less than half pa rin ng total student population. So pinag-iisipan pa rin nila. Kung tatanungin yung ito provinces, pinag-usapan nyo na ba ito kung anong magiging suggestion nyo?
I think meron ng yung provinces parang ang recommendation ng provinces, ng League of Provinces is parang ipagpaliban mo na, i-postpone yung opening. Kaya lang if that is not possible, they will really have to push. Ako nakikita ko na mangyayari dyan, tutuloy pa rin ang klase with kung iilan lang ang nag-enroll. Baka mabawasan pa yung iba kung halimbawa ayaw talaga ni Presidente ng face-to-face, baka mabawasan pa yun. Tuloy pa rin, pero with less students mag-aaral. Yung iba naman, tutuloy na lang mag-aaral next year. Magre-resume mag-aaral next year. Parang the way I look at it, parang gano'n naman nangyayari.
Okay. Governor Leopoldo Petilla of Leyte, maraming salamat po for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Yes,
Sir.
maraming salamat din sa inyo. Mabuhay
Thank you,
kayo.
sir.
Mabuhay rin kayo.
Thank you.
But
Okay.
if it's just a matter of moving the date of the new school year, it doesn't take much for Congress to do that.
Oo nga. Kaya lang pinoproblemahan nila yung teacher sa schools.
Yes. Malaking bagay rin yun
Wala ang katakot-takot na milyon na teacher.
Right. Oo.
Mahirap din
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, OT na tayo.
Oo nga tama na. Ang dami ko pwedeng sabihin, pero tama na. Ito na yung warning.
Okay. That's a wrap for tonight. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. That will be all for this special edition of Chiefs. We hope to discuss here will keep the conversation going. I'm Edlinga of One News.
I'm Ami Paminton of the Philippine Star.
And I'm Lucy Cruz Valdez of News 5, and we are One News.